All right, here we go, fellas. Let's have a little fun today. Is anybody else tired, or is it just me? I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
From the goal line of 5 to 10 to Bevvy. Through a hole to the 20, to the 30, outside, to the 40. He may be gone. Midfield, to the 40, the 30, the 25, 20, the 10, 5. Touchdown for Desmond Howard.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into another edition of PWW Halftime Hits. I am Matt Frederick. We got the whole squad back together finally. I made my journey back from Punta Cana. It was a good time there, waiting on a COVID test result to get back to normal. But I didn't, unfortunately, bring any run defense with me, gentlemen. So I don't know what the hell we're going to figure out. I saw some pretty funny stuff. Like, people are like, does Will Fuller play defense? Like, can he play run D? I thought that was pretty hilarious. But outside of that, I'm Matt Freilich. Of course, let's go to Ryan Bowman right away. Ryan, we've had this conversation for weeks, months, almost well over a year now. Like, are the Packers ever going to figure out this run defense, and what's your thoughts on the first half thus far?
Listen, they can if they want to, but they don't emphasize it. It's not something that's in, Mike Pettine's DNA to devote a lot of their time to. You see it with the way that they practice. You see it with the way that they deploy their personnel. I think by far they have the most defensive backs on the field, more than any other team in the NFL. So when you play light, you're susceptible to that, and you're seeing teams just basically target certain areas of the Packers defense and impose their will from a running game standpoint. So can they? Yes. Will they? I'm starting to think it's Kamal Martin and Chris Burks are great, but they're not enough to fix what ails the Packers, which you got to think is starting to be more schematic than personnel.
Definitely. Weird to see Barnes and Kamal Martin, two rookies playing inside backer. When you started the year, obviously Kirksey would have been there, and you thought maybe someone would have dropped down in the box as a hybrid. But at this point, I'm kind of frustrated with Preston Smith. I've been saying that for the last few weeks, and he's even more of a glaring hole on their defense, in run defense and the pass defense specifically. Before we get to Schoberg on his take, I know he's got some hot stuff, I'm sure, being in Minnesota country. What's everyone drinking today? I'll start. I'm just recovering. I had a week's worth of pina coladas, vodka, tequila, you name it. So I'm just going straight Green Bay water today. Kieran, what are you sipping on? Oh, okay.
Just got my seltzer again out of my Sprecher mug.
Nice. Sprecher mug. That's nice. Any heritage that way?
I wish. I think I would be a lot richer.
I would tell people.
We're going pounders today, silos, whatever you want to call them. We got
them. Bowman, what are you on? Are you still on the keto? Or are you still doing seltzers? Just vodkas? What do you got?
I'm on the vodka soda, keto approved, zero carbs deal. I totally cheated last night. I ate a lot of Halloween candy, so back on the wagon here.
We got my man here, Andy Gilbert, chiming in. I have no words. His defense isn't good, sadly. Yeah, it looks like that. And it starts out decent, right? But just the run D gets exposed. And besides that, they really haven't done much. Maybe a few missed tackles here and there. You really haven't seen them even target Jair Alexander. I saw Thielen over the middle, going against Josh Jackson one time or two, but really just short stuff, and they're kind of just making some plays after the catch. Schoberg, your thoughts thus far on the first half? Obviously, we've pretty much crucified them for the lack of run defense, but on the positive end, what have you seen thus far?
Yeah, let's go positive here. Offense has been extremely efficient, even with the weather. It's a lot of dink and dunk, a lot of rushes. Jamal Williams and A.J. Dillon both playing pretty well. And all of us love to see A.J. Dillon playing well. Mm-hmm. Those big thighs running down the field. My first drive on defense notes could pretty much be across the board for the rest of the half. I have tackling was bad, run defense was bad, and that was across the board every time that they were on the field. But to stay on the positive side, that Kamal Martin play where he split two Vikings offensive linemen on the screen reminded me of Jair Alexander a couple of years back in his rookie season when he went right through Adam Thielen like he was nothing into Stephon Diggs and ended up getting like a 10-yard loss on the play. That play was the best play of the first half as far as I'm concerned. On the offensive side, Tyler Ervin's back. There's been motion on over 50% of the plays in the first half, and they're really taking advantage of MVS, Irvin, those type of guys going across the field. Now they just need to give it to him one time. They gave it to MVS on an end around one time, but honestly, I'd rather have the ball in Irvin's hands at this point. I'm a little sick of MVS out there. Whenever he's out there, it's a tell. It's either going to be motion to him or a deep pass, and I don't like telling the defense what we're going to do. So, Kieran, what do you have on the first half?
I think you brought up a lot of great points. I think the Kamal Martin play was the only highlight on defense. On the first drive, it was 3rd and 3, and they had a penalty. They're a 1-5 team. They did a 1-5 thing. 3rd and 8, we make a play, we get some pressure, and they just dunk it off the Cook, and he runs for 13 yards untouched. Will Redmond missed a tackle there. Barnes and Jair both had bad angles on that. We could have gotten off the field. They might have probably still went for it on 4th down with the wind and the weather and whatnot, but still, I think that was the one moment where we could have made a mark. The defense could have made a mark on the game, and they failed, and they've just been feeding Cook ever since, which I would do. The Dean, I highlighted Dean Lauer explosiveness on that one sack, but that's with as much sarcasm as one can put on it. Completely unblocked breakdown on the Vikings defense. I think Schoberg had a tweet about that. Once every 2 years he has a game like this or something, but
every Minnesota game.
Yeah.
He
plays well twice a year, and it's against Minnesota every time because to the Packers' credit, they've figured out the Vikings offensive action play, and they don't even honor Kirk Cousins' ability to move with the ball. No. So they just bring Dean Lowry right up the line, right where Kirk Cousins is going to be if it's a play action. And that's how they've been playing it the last 2-3 years, and it's been working.
It works, and I love that. Got another comment from our boy here, Gary. Average defense, not aggressive, small ball, of course. The last with the ball. I mean, I guess at this point, the game has played really strange. 3 4th downs. Both teams, coming up, Packers with 2, Vikings with 1. Both teams converting on that point. No field goals at this point, so very odd. I don't really know if there's been a punt. I can't remember.
Nope.
Has there been a punt? No punts. So it's
only 4 possessions.
Right. So very odd first half. We're at this point we are 14-14. I didn't expect it to be 14-14 after the way the first quarter went. Important to note, though, Dantzler did get banged up with that knee to the head. I didn't think of anything of it, but definitely it took some time, obviously, to get him off the field. So we hope he's back in it. They did say it was possibly concussion as well, so it may not just been just the neck, but neck and concussion, not the best situation. But 14-14, Bowman, what are your thoughts going in the second half? Do we kind of see the same concepts from both offenses going ground and pound, or do they try to throw the ball a little bit more, or are we going to see another slow, methodical game with a lot of just possessions and conservation with the clock?
Yeah, I sent out a tweet before the game saying weather is the great equalizer in football, and I expected a tough game, and that's exactly what's happened here, right? I mean, every possession we've scored, but we're talking 7-8 minute possessions that are largely focused on running the football, and that game script doesn't actually suit the Packers' strengths or weaknesses, the way, if you want to put it that way. They're going to score, but if Minnesota is able to go down and employ essentially the same game plan and score, right now they get the kickoff in the second half, and they're up a possession at basically, right? So, I expect the Packers have to be more aggressive. They need to call some run blitzes. They need to get a turnover to flip the balance of this game. I know it looks great on the offensive side, but by all accounts, with us getting the first half kickoff and it being tied 14-14, Minnesota has won the battle of possession in the first half. So the Packers need to do something to flip that around, and I don't think they're going to do it, rushing 3 guys on 3rd and 8 or, just having those huge gaps wide open in the run fits. It's not a matter of ability. It's where those guys are and knowing where they need to be, and they really need to get aggressive and bring the house, because Kirk Cousins is not going to beat you in that weather throwing the football. They are going to run it, and they're going to throw intermediate and short passes. Attack it.
Yeah, I agree. And to your point, they have the Vikings have all the momentum, right? I mean, the Packers are trying to play aggressive there, call some timeouts at the end of the half when they're down inside their own 20, or where they're in the Packers 25 for the Vikings. That didn't work. That blew up on them, so they just run the ball out at the end of the first half. I like the aggressiveness from LaFleur there, but They have the better running back right now, right? Aaron Jones isn't in there. They're pounding the shit out of the rock. So it's like they get the ball in the second half too. So they have only another way to, capitalize off of what they did in the first half. And at this point, like you said, like let Kirk throw the damn ball downfield. Like Adam Thielen's not going to run by anyone. You're going to be able to make a play one-on-one. Justin Jefferson, really haven't seen him going, and maybe that's a factor with one catch. And like maybe that's a factor because Dalvin Cook's back in the offense. You don't have to rely on him as much. And it's again, just a really gusty day in Lambeau Field. So I want them to maybe bait them into throwing the ball deep. That would be awesome to see what their secondary can do. But as far as our offense goes, I'm really looking towards them to, they've established the run okay. I think there hasn't been any big gash plays yet. They've gotten A.J. Dillon involved. He's had probably his best game thus far, or best 30 minutes of play thus far as a Packer in his career, but I'd like to see them exploit Devontae Adams more, especially like we said with Dancer out. Now they're back to, they have 2 rookie corners. Now they have this Boyd kid who I don't know anything about. You'd like to see them just expose them a little bit more. Kieran, what are your thoughts going in the second half as far as defense and offense goes, my man?
We'll start with defense because that's what needs the most improvement. I do think obviously the run defense is what needs to improve, but I think it goes. It's not so much being more aggressive. I think Dalvin Cook really exploits that cutback, and when the offensive line washes down the defensive line and he cuts back and he goes for 15, 20, like that. You can't let that happen. But then also if you don't play aggressive, then he's still going to beat you to the edge. He's an unbelievable back. And if we shut him down, that's going to bode well for the rest of the year. But I just don't see that happening. He's top 3 back in the league right now. And like Matt said, without Aaron Jones, they kind of have the upper hand in this situation. I think on offense, you just got to keep doing the same things. A.J. Dillon was great. I think my favorite play was when he dropped it. He went right back to him in the passing game. And I thought for a long time, he can't be in on passing situations. And hopefully they keep him in and they give him some more passing opportunities in the second half.
That pass play to the outside where he caught it in the flat, kept himself in bounds, and then went way down. That was impressive. Like to see a guy that size with that agility and just awareness towards the sideline. I thought that was really cool. And we heard it all offseason about how A.J. Dillon is going to be a factor in the passing game. Not something he did a lot at Boston College, but yeah, I think that was an exciting play. Schoberg, what about you? What are you seeing in the second half here?
I'm loving the A.J. Dillon involvement because being here in Vikings territory, I know a lot of Vikings fans, and a guy that will not be named on Twitter. He's a huge draft guy, works for one of the draft sites, was absolutely crapping on the A.J. Dillon pick right after it was announced, and now he's sitting here running over his defense. So I kind of like that. But offensive side of the ball, I would like to see us take a shot or two. You got to extend the defense, make them honor it because they have so many people within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage right now to where you're not really extending that defense. On the defensive side of the ball, play aggressive. You could say they're playing aggressive, but on Dalvin Cook's first running touchdown, Preston Smith got washed out. You have to get around that block in a different way than what he was trying to do. And his run defense has just been terrible so far this year. So Vikings got the ball here. We need a big stop and get the ball back and score, or else this could be a real nail biter down the stretch here.
Gary coming in like saying Packers need to break Minnesota's serve, kind of what we talked about. A turnover is needed. They got to do something to switch up that possession battle.
I'll take the last few seconds here before we get into the second half. Just like Preston Smith, man, like there's just like it was early on the second or the first quarter. They do the play action rollout, and he just, Dean Lowry blows it up right like Schoberg's talked about. He goes right after Cousins, and Preston's just stuck in between Irv Smith and Rudolph. Like he's not doing anything. Like get out to the outside, or it's frustrating. Obviously, there's something going on. Schoberg, what do we got here?
Dalvin Cook just ripped off a 30-yarder. It was a cutback lane. Chris Barnes took a bad angle, and he went for about 35.
Well, Kieran called it. hopefully after the game, our boys and gals on Game On Wisconsin postgame show will have something better to talk about. I imagine the Packers are going to figure out something different offensively, defensively. Clearly, as Schoberg mentioned, not the best start, so hopefully they'll tighten it up a little bit, but we'll see what happens. But for Matt Freilich, we got Ryan Bowman, Kieran Sprecher, Ryan Schoberg. We're out. You guys enjoy the second half, and we'll talk to you soon.
Now, here's the run-up. Swing of the right leg, and we're underway.
Here we go.
You know what time the game starts? All right, here we go, fellas. Let's have a little fun today. Is anybody else tired or is it just me? I got some advice for y'all. Take 2 weeks off, then quit.
From the goal line to 5 to 10 to 15. Through a hole to the 20, to the 30, outside, to the 40. He may be gone. Midfield, to the 40, the